Welcome to Ridgecrest Talk. I'm Tonia Pyle, and I've invited some guests today from CASA, our court-appointed special advocate group, and these two are from Ridgecrest. This is Tom Campbell and Anna Maria Easley. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so just to start off, what is a court-appointed special advocate?
CASA is it's a volunteer organization that works directly with children who have gotten involved in the court system for a variety of reasons. You know, parents neglect or actual abuse, or parents getting in trouble with the law and the children are removed from the home. And we supplement the court system. We work with social workers and the courts, and we provide our own, I don't quite know how to say it, our own opinion of how the child is doing. Are their needs being met? You know, from medical care to schools to, you know, how are they doing in if they're placed in a foster home, or even when they're returned to their home. CASAs stay involved. And we write reports for the court so that approximately every 6 months, when the cases are being reviewed or there's a motion to change status or something, the court has our report, and we go to court so that the judge can actually ask us questions directly. And I would like to say that the courts take it very serious. They they have read the stuff we have written up beforehand, and they ask good questions, and it's a really good way to supplement the way overworked social workers. We'll see children every week and do various things with them. Social worker might spend, you know, 15 to 30 minutes a month. So we're different in the sense that we really do get to know the children.
Yes, I wanted to say that, bring up the columnist, Anna Quinlan, I think was her name. And she said for CASA, the courts have the statutes, they know the statutes, the attorneys know the statutes, the social workers know the regulations, but you actually know the kids.
That's true.
And I think that's really nice. So, Anna Maria, why did you want to be a CASA volunteer?
Well, it kind of shows that really it doesn't take a whole lot to change someone's life. That it really just a few minutes, you know, of your time, you know, sharing that with a child. You know, the child I was recently working with, you know, I'd knock on the door and his eyes would just get really big as soon as he'd see my face, and we'd go play basketball or something like that. And so it's just a way to give back to the kids that really do need that.
So then what, was that your first child you were advocate?
I've just had 2 cases. I've only been working with CASA for less than a year now. So I've just had 2 cases, and this second one just dismissed recently.
So that means, when you say it dismissed, that means that child's gotten settled into a particular environment, or?
Placed back with his family, and so he's not in the
court system
in that way anymore, correct.
Very nice. And how about you? Why did you want to be a CASA volunteer?
I was looking for something meaningful to do, and I heard about CASA through a couple mutual friends, and I looked into it, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought it would be very worthwhile. I had no idea how many children are in the system.
Do you have some statistics you can share with us on that?
I do, if you don't mind me reading them.
I would appreciate it.
There's 17,000 suspected child abuse cases reported in Kern County.
In Kern County alone?
In a year. Which is 11th highest in California. There's, if I can read this correctly, 2,300 children currently in foster care or outside homes, their homes. And since CASA was started back in 1994, the organization has helped a little under 3,000 children. So the CASA group has been around for a while and has a very good reputation, particularly with the people that matter, such as a judge. And they've helped a lot of kids.
It's been those statistics are just for Kern County.
That's yes.
Even for the state or for nationwide.
Well, I've heard a lot of the statistics, which I don't remember off the top of my head, that have to do with meth and parents that who are involved in meth, and then the kids generally end up in the foster care system.
Usually drugs and alcohol are the #1
Yeah.
reasons. That
Drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. In the training that we received, someone stated that in over 95% of the cases that where children are removed from their homes are the result of parents' involvement with alcohol and other drugs.
Yeah, so it's a great need out there, and our county is so big on that. I mean, the Stop Meth Now campaign really needs your help. So you're a great influence. We're going to get ready and take a break here, but so how many years or how long have you been involved in the group?
I've been involved with CASA a little over a year and a half, and I've had
Okay.
2 cases, one of which long-term from day one, basically, that also dismissed 2 weeks ago after 11 years of him living away from his mother. The father's not involved. He was reunited with his mom, and just on the 15th of this month, they had a court hearing, and he was returned permanently to his mother, and they're no longer involved with the court. So, real success story there. This kid had lots of issues, and so did the parents. But the parents, I mean, it's a success story, and it doesn't always happen.
Well, we're going to get into that success story. I'm going to ask you more about that when we get back from this break. But I want to ask you, when they're no longer in the system, does that relationship end? Is it expected to end, or do you continue as a friend, or?
The formal relationship ends, but certainly you've developed a rapport with, especially after a year and a half. You have a rapport with the child, and that carries forward. Whether the case gets dismissed or the child turns 18, where he's not subject to the juvenile court.
All right. Well, we'll take a break, and we'll be back in just a moment. Thank you. Welcome back to Ridgecrest Talk with our CASA volunteers, Tom Campbell and Anna Maria Easley. And so you were telling me that you have worked with two CASA court children in the court system. And so how, tell us a little bit how that went. Or if you have any success story, or
both of which I got lucky.
Okay.
Both of my cases, which actually involved 3 children, 2 from one home. The second case I only had for a couple months, and it got dismissed last week.
Okay, so you'll have only one at a time.
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Depending on where the child is and your workload and the issues associated with the case, because it can be complex. Or
but if there's multiple kids involved, then they would all be yours in one situation, in one family.
I think so.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not quite sure how CASA might divide it. Sometimes children are removed from their parents and go to different homes.
Yes.
And they could have different CASAs. I would think, though, that mostly all the children from one family are dealing with one CASA. if a CASA is even available.
Or if they're all in the same foster
Yeah,
family.
because you want to get to know the children and all of the influences on the children like their siblings.
Right.
So you would want to, you'd want to have all that information available.
What were the ages of your kids?
My first case that lasted for a year and a half, he was 15, now he's almost 17. And the other family, which was here in Ridgecrest, the children were 14 and 16, so just leaving junior high and one in high school. And they had been removed for about a year and a half from their home due to child abuse, physical abuse in this case. The parents went through parenting classes, anger management, there's a whole series, you know, substance abuse wasn't an issue in this case, surprisingly.
It was anger.
It was anger and unmanaged, and the parents went through the training and did a number of other things to meet the requirements to even be considered to get their children back, and indeed they did it successfully, and the children are back at home now.
And happy and...
Oh, yeah.
And so, are you still in touch with them, or...?
A little bit. It's only been a week since they've been home, you know, since I've been off the case.
Okay.
But yeah, the older boy loves sports, so I will go and just say hi and watch him play.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
That's
definitely.
very nice. It's rewarding.
It is. It really is. Yeah.
And how about your other case?
My other case, this was a case where the mother had certain things she had to do, but so did the child. He had some issues from having been also abused.
Okay.
And he has had a long, long, hard road with, you know, a lot of therapy, and these children are.
So then you've got
the
the social worker and you've got a therapist.
Oh, and more than
you've
one.
got the court. It's quite involved. And teachers, you call the teachers and things like that?
We talk to teachers, we talk to the therapists. We have a court order that entitles us to go get all their grades, talk to the school psychologist.
Sure.
And after, you know, and you might have 15 or 20 people sometimes you need to talk to. And slowly you build up this knowledge base that allows you to really advocate for the child. And, you know, CASA is that's what they do. They advocate for the children.
Yeah, because you get a better understanding, a
Yes.
deeper understanding, I guess I should say.
And I have to say, and I've said it earlier, I am really pleased that the court system values the CASA input a lot. And they read your stuff and they ask you questions.
So this is your own written report. It's not something that they've given you some guidelines into.
Well, the guidelines are so that your report is a legal document. There is a format, but the language in it is yours.
Sure.
You can say what you've observed, what you think, what you recommend, and you know, and it's taken for what it's worth, and evaluated by the court, and the judge will make the decision he thinks.
Take it into strong consideration.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because juvenile court is really geared for the children, and so the judge's decision is what he thinks is best for the child.
Anna Maria, how about you and your child?
Yeah, I've just had 2 cases since I haven't been in CASA very long. The first one was an infant, and I was only on that case. I came in the very end of that case. I was only on that one for a couple months, but it's unfortunate that yes, infants are also involved in abuse and such. And that one dismissed, like I said, after about a month or so I was on it. The second case, I was on that one for I think maybe 5 or 6 months. and that one also dismissed recently. So that boy was, I think, about 10. So you know, with an infant versus a 10-year-old, you can definitely interact differently.
Sure.
You know, you can't take a little baby out to go play basketball,
Right,
but
right.
they don't appreciate McDonald's the same way. But yeah, both success stories. You know, so definitely worthwhile.
And how old was the little boy you had?
The infant?
Or no, the older one.
10.
10. Oh, you said
Yeah.
10. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said and you played basketball. And,
Yeah, we go play basketball. We go out to eat. You know.
And what has been the most rewarding thing for you as being a volunteer?
I think just knowing that I'm giving back to the community, and it's easy, and it doesn't take a lot of time.
Do you work?
Oh yeah, I work full time, absolutely.
And you still have time to do it?
Usually it takes, for me with this boy case I was just on, I'd spend about an hour once a week with him, going to play basketball, or over the Christmas holidays, going around looking at Christmas lights, or, like I said, going to McDonald's. I always love McDonald's. So no, it's not a big time commitment. A little bit once a week.
Well, we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about the training and the time commitment and all of that's involved there. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Ridgecrest Talk with our CASA volunteers. And Anna Maria, you were talking about your experience, and then that you also work as well as volunteer in this way. So what kind of a time commitment are we talking about here?
For my two cases, it's definitely, varied. For the infant, there's not a lot, you can do with them. So that, I go visit once a week for probably half an hour, and that was it. With the little boy I had, who was about 10, usually about an hour or so every night, or every week. And then every 6 months, usually the case goes back to court. So after visits, you keep a diary of what you've observed, and then that information goes into your court report. So usually 12 to 15 hours a month is about what's expected. But no, I definitely work full-time or more than full-time, and it's not that hard to fit this.
And then was the court here in Ridgecrest, or did you go to court in Bakersfield?
Yeah, for Kern County, the court is in Bakersfield.
Okay.
So when the child goes back to court, you are, ideally you go to court with them. So if the judge has questions for you that you can represent.
Do their foster families go? Everybody shows up, or?
It's usually just,
it varies.
It depends. Yeah.
Okay.
For my cases.
But the advocate is expected to be there.
Yes, because we're advocating for the child. The child is the one that's the case
that's
is
your,
about. So
that's
we're supposed to
your
be there as well.
moment.
Exactly. But we do have advocate supervisors. The main office for CASA is in Bakersfield, and if you can't make the court date for whatever reason, usually the supervisor can go for you. So it's not as scary as it might sound. But yeah.
Have you been involved with the courts before, or are you?
I have not. Nope, this has all been very new to me.
Okay, well, that's pretty bold. I mean, also you hear of. I don't know. Are you ever scared to be around the kids because? Because socially.
Me personally, no. But
okay.
You can well imagine that. Going to a strange home, particularly if the child is back with parents that have had problems, it makes you wonder,
right?
What you might walk into.
Exactly.
My experience has been that the parents were very welcoming, very forthright, and
you did have a good experience.
Well, I did. Like I said, I think maybe I got a little lucky in some respects. But the parents were good to work with, and they wanted their children back, which was the most important thing. And so they were. It was easy.
Okay. Well, how about the training? Did you feel you were well prepared by the CASA organization to do your job or do your?
It was funny because I made the comment. There's a series of training classes all day. For 4 weekends, or 4 days on 4 different weekends. And I thought at first that...
it's for like 4 weekends in a row?
Well, but it's only 1 day per weekend, so it's 4 days. And then a day in court.
Okay.
And you get to talk to the lawyers and the judge. And but I thought the training there was too much at first.
Oh.
And by the time I got to the 4th class and I really realized
This is
the scope of what is going on with these children, I made the comment that I thought maybe 4 days of training was not enough. So, but
Yeah.
it turns out, like Anna Maria said, tremendous support from other local CASAs, and there's
Okay.
4 of us, 4 additional.
Here in Ridgecrest?
Here in Ridgecrest.
Okay.
But the CASA office itself, your supervisor, is just wonderful.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so would you, I mean, you have another training coming up, right?
I believe there's one in Ridgecrest in the spring, and then there's always trainings happening in Bakersfield at the main CASA office as
Oh,
well.
really? They have ongoing training?
They do.
Oh, I see. So if you wanted to get involved right away, you could just call the CASA organization and they would train you.
There's a website that's kerncasa.org.
Say that again, please.
The website is kerncasa.org.
Okay.
And then the phone number is 661-631-2272.
Okay.
So those are 2 ways to, or Google search CASA or
Okay.
Kern County and you'll find it
What
too.
was that phone number again?
The phone number is 661-631-2272.
And are you going to do it again?
Oh yes, I'm still a volunteer, so as soon as another case comes up, we'll probably be on it.
Well,
yeah.
with you said 17,000 in. I mean, how is it that just automatically, if someone is in the court system, they're going to get CASA attention? Then, is that how it works?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
The judge will
make that determination.
request that. Sometimes the cases there's a lot going on.
Sure.
And the judge knows that the social workers are overworked and they're providing the information they can, but like you said, they're more interested in compliance with requirements.
The regulations.
And so if the judge feels like there's a real need for more info, he needs more data, he'll ask if a CASA is available. And they're not shy about that. So both Anna Maria and I are waiting because our case is dismissed almost simultaneously. We're both out of work right now.
It's good to be out of work.
Oh, you're lonely. It sounds like such a fulfilling opportunity for someone to volunteer and get that personal relationship and make a difference in someone's life.
Absolutely.
And it can be fun too. Even my first case, he was troubled.
Well, we have about a minute. What was fun about it?
You get to know him, and being a teenage boy, he was he was posturing, but after a little bit, 15, 20 minutes, pretty soon he lets down his guard, and you can really talk with him, and you go do things, and they start to relate to you. And when a kid is being a kid and they're just being fun, then you have fun too. So, so that's what was good about it.
And are there any special benefits that go along with it in our last closing seconds here?
Just knowing that you're helping a kid.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me. It's a wonderful organization, work that you're doing. Thank you.
Well, and thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
bet.